This is maybe more of a questionnaire or opinion poll. I want to know what a lot of you think, but one of the trends that we've been seeing using forward-facing sonar, it seems like we're moving towards softer, lighter rod actions. And I think one of the things that's happening, at least for me, one of the things that I've noticed is, your foot's on the foot pedal, you've only got so much coordination, you're trying, especially in wind, you're trying to line up, make a cast at a fish, you see a fish, make a cast at it. And ultimately, you're fighting to watch that lure fall down near the fish, and you see the fish move. And when you get that play-by-play, I feel like it's almost like setting the hook too early when you're using topwater, in the sense that you see a fish come at the jig disappears. It's easy to set the hook too soon. But also, too, ultimately what happens, especially with fish that are way up off the bottom, which we never even targeted before, invariably, so often the rod is in a bad place, okay, when that fish hits. That's just the reality of it. And so, whether the rod's too high, whatever it is, before forward-facing sonar, all of our focus is on the boat control and then the rod. You always have the rod in the right place. Whereas I feel like with forward-facing sonar, especially when you're pulling fish and trying to get them up off the bottom, sometimes these fish hit before you can get that rod in a good place, okay? And invariably, it seems like too stiff of a rod action can cost you fish, in the sense that when your rod tip is high and seems way out of place from where it should be, I feel like if you have a lighter rod, you can close up on that fish without that fish feeling you so much, and then lean into the fish more. And so even like for jigging, before forward-facing sonar, I was using a lot heavier action rods, medium to medium extra fast, medium heavy at times, but I like to real stiff rod action for a lot of different swim baits, soft plastics, jigs. I would use a little bit lighter rod with crankbaits, but now I'm finding even like with jigs and plastics, jigs and live bait, I'm lightening up that rod action. And I guess what I compare it to is maybe like a 6.5 foot medium to medium light, depending on the rod model, that's fast to extra fast. But I guess a rod action that I would consider a great live bait rigging rod, where you just want a little bit of a tip. It seems like having some tip on the rod, having a little bit of a lighter tip on the rod, just seems to help when we're using forward-facing sonar. That's just my opinions, my observations. What do you think? But that's one trend that I've definitely been moving towards, is lighter tipped rods when I'm using forward-facing sonar, because invariably my rod's too low, it's too high, the fish is 10 feet up off the bottom, whatever it is, and I don't get to reel down on the fish. I don't get to keep my rod in the best position because all my attention is focused on the screen, where I don't get to watch the rod anymore. And so that's the other thing, is the days of watching your line, watching the bite, using your eyes to detect the bite, that's almost becoming obsolete, because the eyes are on the screen. And so the other thing that I've been doing is using reels with blazing high gear ratios. Before, there are certain things where I like the high gear ratio, don't get me wrong, but as a rule of thumb with a lot of walleye fishing applications, high gear ratios it wasn't like that was a real popular thing, because a lot of times we're trying to slow our presentation down. With forward-facing sonar, like this Revo, to me, this has got one of the highest gear ratios you're going to find on a spinning reel. It picks up, I want to say it's like 3.5 feet, something like that. I don't remember the exact amount, but it's blazing. Okay, when you turn this reel handle, that lure is moving. Why is that important? Well, if you cast past the fish, and you say you're 10 feet past the fish, you can just make your adjustments so quickly. Or if you cast and miss a fish, you can get it back in and cast back out. You're twice as fast as most spinning reels, okay? So lighter action rod tips, faster reels, that's kind of the evolution that we're seeing as far as, a rod and reel that's used specifically for catching fish that you see with forward-facing sonar. Doesn't matter if it's a jigging wrap, finisher, pitch and puppet, a jig and a crawler, slip bobber. That's just the basic trend that we're seeing. Just some observations, but voice your opinion, put your comments below. Love to know what is in everybody else's head.